Dustin with Tech MD. We're coming at you with another mining video slash upgrading your cooling on your Gigabyte Eagle RTX something. I'll have the exact model up there on the video. But basically, if your card looks very similar to this one, then you can follow my instructions. I've learned some interesting stuff about cards. So if the calibrator says, let's say 2.5, maybe you should go with 2 pads. And if your pads are between a half a millimeter to a millimeter, then you should go with half. It worked really good for me to do that. So anyways, we are going to be working on this Gigabyte 3080 Ti. This sucker runs hot, especially when it's overclocked and mining, but overall just hot. They really all do. I have several cards that I need to upgrade the cooling on. So what we're going to do is I like to use a 00 screwdriver from my toolkit, grip toolkit. Okay, so everything I'm going to talk about will be, the links will be in the description below. And we're going to need a couple tools, but I don't know exactly what tools until I start opening it up. 100% you want to make sure that the screws go back in the same hole. You can use like a blue mat, which I don't have on me, it's in the car, or you can just lay them out carefully. Now, like I said, I've opened several other graphics cards, and it seems like the best way to approach this is to remove it from the back. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and just start with taking off the back plate. Remember, it's pretty important to put these screws back in the exact same spot you found them in. If you're in the United States, they can't void your warranty for opening them up and cooling them. If you want to do the liquid metal that I'm going to be doing today, you're going to need Kapton Tape and nail polish remover. Which, gotta find that. So a new card, for the most part, overheating. My EVGA 3080 Ti is overheating. Really, the only card that doesn't overheat is my EVGA hybrid card. It runs really good. How it's designed, I guess maybe it's better. Oh, I see another screw right here. So this one's on the outside. We might find some more outside screws too, so I might just put that off to the side. Like I said, I'm just using a 00 screwdriver. I have a magnetizer here to magnetize my screws. Works really good. Go ahead and just carefully take off the back plate. It may give you some resistance because the thermal pads are pretty sticky. Okay, getting a lot of resistance, so I'm gonna, oh, looks like we got some separation here. Oh, geez, wow. Very interesting. Okay, that's a different design altogether. So we're gonna go ahead and pull out some of these fan cables here so we can have at least some separation. This is very familiar from my other 3090. Gigabyte loves to do that. Look at that fan shroud, holy moly. And to be honest, those thermal pads look really nice. And the thermal paste does not look like the top-notch quality. So the board is definitely screwed on a little bit more over here. And so we're going to have to separate the back plate from there. Now there's a couple ways to cool the back plate. I've seen some copper fans. It seems a little outrageous, but it depends on how much you want to overclock. And also like a copper plate with fans. And what else have I seen? Oh, an active cooling backplate. That's pretty cool. So you could just water cool the whole entire card front and back. As far as I understand, though, these pads are consistent of only like 7-watt dissipation. I can't say that word. Heat dissipation. Oh, jeez. I hope you guys know what I'm saying, but basically, to get rid of the heat, it can only do so much per megawatt, or not megawatt, but milliwatt. And the thermal pads we're going to use are going to be 15s. So they're significantly better. Alright, let's see if we can... Oh, I'm going to do a couple more screws here. See what's going on. See if we're going to loosen this backplate completely off. I don't know if that's connected to the backplate. Oh, it was. Yep. Looking for more screws. I don't see any more screws, guys. Those front shroud there is not connected, so we're good there. I think we're ready to separate the backplate now. Just carefully, let's not tear these pads. They do want to stick, as you guys can see. We're just slowly separating this. Trying to, at least. Jeez. I'm pulling on the board over here. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, because it's not a 3080 Ti. That is why, guys. We have no thermal pads on the backside for RAM chips because this thing is only a 12 gigabyte. So that totally makes sense. So if we want to replace the thermal pads, if you have this exact model, not a problem. But if you don't, you need a calibrator. So my calibrator I'm going to test and see which one we need here. Go from there. For now, I'm just putting these backplate, or this piece here on the backplate because I don't want it falling off, but this one seems to be fine. Alright. So I use a microfiber rag and a spray mister. You can do whatever you want, but just get the rag a little wet with some alcohol, 99%. And let's go ahead and clean off the old, or the RAM here. Just clean off any excess lubricant, whatever this oil looking substance is on the chips. I just wipe it down, make sure there's no extra pads there because we want a nice smooth contact. And then we're going to remove this old thermal paste. Now, if you just want to put better thermal paste on, I suggest looking at some other videos to see the perfect amount. But I'm going to today show you the perfect amount of liquid metal. If you watch this video very carefully, I will teach you exactly the amount to do on there. But basically, you want a thin coating. You got to be super careful not to get any liquid metal anywhere else on the board. I mean, I have to really emphasize that, guys. If you do, you'll fry your graphics card here. So I just sprayed a little bit more alcohol on this rag, and after I'm done here, then I gotta find my nail polish remover. If you only have 91%, that's fine. Just make sure it's fully dry before doing anything else. 99 dries so quickly, you're fine. It's what I use to clean water damaged electronics. All right, so this chip runs fairly hot. The one that's in my system right now is running, and this is the hybrid one here. It's doing 80 hashes at 4892. So 48 is the GPU and 92 is the RAM. Our goal obviously is to get the RAM much lower by 15 to 20 degrees, and also get the GPU down by 20 degrees as well. Now the reason why we're doing this is because I don't want to have to put big giant fans on them to keep them cool and run them around the clock. And frankly, I think this one thermal throttles. So yeah, it just hit 98 now on it, on the RAM. So this one hits 110, and I think the EVGA one hits pretty high as well. But the other EVGA hybrid that's running right now, it runs pretty good. So hopefully we're going to get some really good temps out of this and go from there. So now I just got to find my nail polish remover. All right, this is called Clear Base Coat, and basically it coats over these little resistors and we don't get any liquid metal on there. Now if you're just replacing the pads, you should still replace the thermal pads. Just a heads up, guys. My pad keeps on getting stuck underneath here. I'm trying to remove the graphics card around. Just carefully lift this up. You don't want to rip them, especially if you want to reuse. And these are really expensive, and we don't really need to replace these. Now, it's kind of hard to get exactly back on, so we just find it where it was on this thing. Left a little marking there, so this one not exactly on where it belongs either. There we go. Okay, now for the fun part. Nice thick coat. You can wait for it to dry and do a second one if you want. I don't do that. I just make sure that it's all covered where the liquid metal might spill over onto it. And trust me, it does. No matter how precise you are, every time I reopen them up to take a look, typically it's spilt over a little bit. Nice and thick, guys. The thing to know about liquid metal also is that you want to make sure that your heatsink is copper or nickel. Can't be aluminum. I think most graphics cards are copper anyways, so really don't have to worry about it. This video is really for 3080 Ti's. I'll be making more 3080 Ti videos here. Thinking about making some crypto videos, guys. Let's show you guys what I'm doing. It's pretty crazy. Anyways, we're going to take some Kapton tape, and we're going to tape over where we just put the clear coat. This is also helps prevent the brain work for the liquid metal from touching anything that you don't want it to touch. That's the goal, but no guarantees, guys. unless you're super good. This is a really expensive graphics card, so if you're doing this at home, be careful. Now you can always mail it to me and I'll be glad to do it for you. I'll clean out your shroud if it's dirty, and I will clear coat it, put liquid metal on it, put new thermal pads, the best I can get, and charge you $250. I'll ship it back to you for free. Unless you want overnight, and then you have to pay for that. Just waiting for it to dry here. It's still a little wet. And I'm not happy with one spot. I'm looking at it here. It's gonna go back over it. No clue why the manufacturer doesn't do this themselves. Maybe a second coat might be helpful, guys. I don't know. And we're just going to wait for it to dry. While we're waiting for it to dry, we can start working on the pads. So if you're doing not this exact same model, your pads could be different. I bought a $30 calibrator on Amazon, and I will link that in the description here. Oops. Got an extra little thermal pad there. And I am going to carefully take it off this. I use an iFlex tool here. It's just nice and thin piece of metal that gets under here. I don't want to rip or tear this just in case it doesn't work or I don't have the right size. That's the biggest thing is, guys, you got to have like all the sizes when it comes to doing graphics cards on laptops and GPUs and stuff. So I bought them all. I just don't have the in-between sizes. It's kind of baffling to me. So what we do is just take this pad here, and we're going to take our calibrator and measure it. It's so squishy and wet. There's another pad that I think is in between, guys. 2.5. If you go to 2, it's just not big enough. And I don't think they make 2.5 size, to be honest. This is the same problem I had on my 3090. It was 2.5 in the back. So what I'm going to do here is try to combine them and see if I can do that. I don't know. I've never tried that before. Okay, so the ones I like to buy, they don't make 2.5. So we're going to do a 1.5 and a 1 since I got plenty of those. And instead of doing a 2 and then a half. You can buy some 2.5s, and I will leave that link in the description. But for now, I like to try to stick with exact specs here, guys. All right, so I'll just get a little alcohol on there, spray it clean, but we still can see where our line's supposed to be. It has little lines there for us, so that's always nice. All right, so measurements wise, we just take the original pad and take our 14.25 millimeters. All right, these are the pads I like using. They are extremely effective. I'm assuming they're all going to be this length. Which will be nice. But let's double check. Yep. Yep. That one's facing that direction though. Yep. They're all going to be that length. 14.25. Get back up there. And we're going to need 1, 2, 3 sets. And then that extra one we'll pull off this side probably. That one's all squished out of place anyway, so we're just going to .38. All right, so we got pads. And then we're going to have to do this all over again for the one. Let's get the one out here. I rented a computer the other day. I didn't film that one, unfortunately. Now, ideally, you'd have the right size. You don't have to do this, but I want the best cooling, so I'm doing this. Wait, no, that's not what I want. Let's move this bad boy out of the way. Those other ones are about 3 milliwatt less per square meter or something like that. All right. You know, in a perfect world, they fit perfectly together. But my cuts are not exactly precise. They're close. All right, now we got the cuts done. Always keep the originals and try not to tear them. They seem to pull up with the finger just no problem. And there's no starting pad to tell us where to go on. Oh, there is. This clearly goes over a little bit. I don't think accuracy is that extreme when it comes to, you know, where it sits exactly, because it can come over a little bit. And yeah, so as long as you get the RAM chips covered, that's the most critical. And we're not actually going to place it on here. You can place it right on the RAM. That's what I like to do. It's a little bit different than other people do, I'm sure, but that's how I like to do it. Some more alcohol. We don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Just focus on our copper core here. And so that we have exactly 1.5 or 2.5 millimeters. Place it right on our RAM chip. Call it good. And it's not perfectly lining up here. I am going to be a perfectionist and try to line it up a little bit better. Just getting there, guys. What's really great about doing 2.5, if I'm wrong and it doesn't work and it overheats, guess what? I can take off a half. Kinda, because it wasn't a half, it was just a mil, so maybe not. Wishful thinking. Apparently a lot of these are 2.5 and not 2, so we'll see here. If the GPU doesn't make good contact with the thermal paste, either you did it too thick, or you did these too thick, or it's just not making good contact because these are too thick, the pads. Trust me, it's an absolute nightmare. I don't recommend anyone doing this unless you're pretty good at troubleshooting. So I won't release the video if it's not what I'm looking for. No, it doesn't work. The 3090, I've already made a video on a 3090, and I haven't released it yet because it's still overheating a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the backplate. But we're going to fix that coming up today. Which, who knows, when my editors get to it, they're very busy making TikTok videos and these videos, and this takes a long time to do all this stuff. This has totally become my new hobby. I love tearing down really expensive GPUs and potentially killing them just for the sake of YouTube content. I love showing you guys this stuff. If you guys haven't watched any of my other videos on phone repair, please do. And I also did a little intro of how the channel's changing a little bit. I'm still going to be doing phone repair, tablets, and some computer cooling and stuff like that. But I also want to do this other stuff. Because frankly, I only have so many phones to repair, and I need more content. And I really do like filming and teaching. So here we are. So I make sure it's not overlapping on the processor, guys. That's pretty important. But make sure it's close enough where it's covering those resistors. Oops. Get back on there. You don't want that coming up on your RAM. One tiny little... I wish I had some scissors, but I don't want to go hunting for them. I already went hunting for these blasted clear coat thing. Forgot I put it in an orange bucket. And yeah, there it was. So, is the Kapton Tape critical? No. It's spelled with a K, but just to let you know, I will have the link in the description. Is it important? I would say for safety, yeah, it's just an extra layer just in case, but it also kind of concaves, especially on these, to make sure the liquid metal stays all in. Also, I'll be linking the liquid metal, about 5 milligrams, and that was not what I should have done. I should have bought 1 milligram because the 5 milligrams leak out everywhere. Drives me absolutely bonkers. Alright, so liquid metal time. I don't even know how much I got left because I've had to suck it up, and look at that. That's way too much. And this, see how fast this comes out? I feel like I got endless amounts of this stuff. Okay, I think I got the right amount. You want just a tiny little bead? I just reuse these. That's totally not enough. Just a little bit. Comes out so fast. Oh, that's way too fast. Jeez, it's a nuisance. So you want a nice thin coat. That is the key factor. Thin. As you can see, it's already spreading over there by accident. I don't even know how I did that. Watch your liquid metal tube there. Maybe wanting to still come out. And I feel like 5 milligrams is going to last me a long time. If it doesn't dry out by then. Pretty economical that way. So as you can see there, I'll zoom in. Got a nice thin coat. I hope that helps, guys. It's really hard to explain beyond that. Then you want to cover this processor right in the middle, and that's kind of challenging. So your best way is to do it with a calibrator. Where is it? I mean, you can go over a little bit. It's not that big of a deal, which this is the first time I've actually done it this way. So 17.5 right there. I'm assuming this is the same 17.5 here. Just a little bit less. So it is literally probably right here, right here. I can actually see the square, so I'm pretty close. And just rub your excess on here. I don't know how critical this is, but this is what Gamer Nexus, or no, Gamer Nexus did not show this. Somebody else showed this, and I thought kind of makes sense. Just want to make sure you have good contact. Gamer Nexus actually showed me the nice thin coating. The coating thickness is, in my opinion, really important. You got too thick, it's not going to work. But it's not overly difficult, so don't think it's too difficult. It's just follow these steps really carefully and you'll be fine. We want to put the backplate back on. We didn't have to remove the backplate, just heads up. I feel like I am backwards. Yeah, I was totally backwards. Haha. I'm checking the screw hole alignment. Make sure we get that very accurately over the proper screw holes. I'm going to take our really giant screw here. Screw that back on. I don't know where the other big giant screw went to quite yet. Oh, there you are. Almost fell off. Ooh. And take our 3 exact identical size screws here. Careful not to touch that liquid metal. You do not want this liquid metal anywhere on the board. If you do, man, the problem is it's so tiny you can't even tell. You really would need to give it a full scrubbing and an alcohol bath if you did get it anywhere. Removing it is even more difficult, so all I can say is just be careful. This is better not to make a mistake. One of those things you don't want to. Oh man. Now I remember a screw being up here somewhere. Was it this one? Yep. We got a couple tiny screws. Let's look at what we got going underneath here. Oh, it's all under the board. Let's get these fan connectors back on. Okay, when fan connectors are all on. Obviously, alignment is extremely critical here. You want to be putting your liquid metal on the wrong side. Something is snagging me from moving forward more. I don't know what it quite is. Cable? There we go. Oh, it's a cable. Alignment is everything, guys. And there's that one screw I was talking about on this side of the board. Not putting them all the way in yet. Slightly putting them in. And slowly screwing them in here. You want to make sure those chips on the back, or the pads on the back, were lined up properly. I get them pretty tight. They don't want to tighten anymore, and then they're done, but don't strip them. That would be a bad thing. And we're just going to check the thickness on the board here. Or on the, as you can see, this pad's coming out a little bit. But I mean, it looks pretty perfect. All right, let's see how the cooling does, and we'll go from there, guys. All right, as you can see here, that's my Gigabyte card, and we are turning on the system now to test it. Also, I forgot 2 screws, but they are non-critical screws, so I'm just going to leave them alone for now. So we have a pretty generic fault, just a code 43. I'm not sure what that means, so we're just going to uninstall and reinstall. Probably not going to work because it's on that riser card. Go ahead and restart. And I also put a couple of those screws in too. Well, I have yet to have a graphics card do this where it does error 43. Or now it's 31. We'll get looking into it. Alright, so several days later I've been busy and working on different projects, and I am now officially I was trying to figure out the Gigabyte issue. Red Panda Mining actually had this issue on his Threadripper, so I'm hoping it's not software, but either way, I put the original pads back on, it booted, I installed drivers, and it showed up, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, what's going on? It works just fine, but it's still overheating. It's a 3080 Ti, they love to overheat, or hot, and the 2.5 millimeter pads that I measured with the calibrator was not enough. And I do remember reading something about pads being not soft as they are more conductive, and maybe that's the reason why it's not getting the correct dimensions, it's not squishing the pads. So this is now with pads at 2 millimeters on this Gigabyte, and we're going to see if it works. Okay, so we got the new card in, and we've got it overclocked, and we're hoping not to see any more overclock temps at 104. None of that. I have it already overclocked over here, but it will auto-tune. One thing I'm still struggling with the 5700 XT is I can't adjust the fan speeds. I've tried other settings or other apps, and it just pushes it back on any setting. Seems like the 5700 runs a little hot. So look at that, 86 mega hashes with a Gigabyte card running at 61 and 68 with liquid metal and new pads. Has not done a auto tune yet at all. But overall, I'm pretty happy with these results at the moment. Now let's see if I can figure out if I can put this back in my Threadripper. So it's jumped down to 78. I've certainly seen these things move around. And by the way, mining with multiple cards is an absolute nightmare. You have to have UFEI installed on your hard drive, but my SSD didn't work, so I used the M.2. That worked. And then you have to install Windows all over again, and then change some settings where it's not, where it allows you to do multiple cards. So far, I've not been able to do multiple cards on this system yet, but this is a fresh install of Windows, and so I'm hoping to be able to do that. Overall, very impressed. It's running so much better with the new thermal pads. Well worth it, guys. Wow, look at that. Temps are really good. Well, I hope you guys really like these kind of video content. Um, more of them is coming in the future. Remember, if you feel comfortable, you can send your graphics card in to me, and I'll be glad to do the cooling modifications, obviously test. I'll mine it for 24 hours for you if you'd like, and then I'll ship it back. It's $250. Be glad to do it for you. Or watch my videos very carefully. You'll be just fine. Just be super careful. It is a pain. Now, have I done a ton of these yet? No, not yet. But I did learn on YouTube and teaching myself and educating. It is very difficult to get everything just right on this kind of workload. So just be really careful, guys. But with the, I mean, like all the pads I've used, oh my gosh, I've wasted so much pads. But in the end, has it been worth it? Yes, because I'm hashing between 88 to 79 hashes right now. It's sitting at 82 at 74 on the VRAM. Oh! I mean, holy crap. I'm super excited, guys. More coming very soon. I'm going to be tearing down more 3080 Ti's because I really like that unit. I might do the RTX or the XT 5700 XT Radeon, but I don't know how to overclock it. So what's the point? It doesn't overheat that much. I mean, it gets a little hot, but it could get cooler, and they'll make it last longer. So, if you guys have any good suggestions on how to really overclock them well, let me know. I've tried a couple of the softwares and it just didn't work. I couldn't figure it out. So maybe I need to find a tutorial. If you guys are interested in learning how to buy little crappy coins that are worth nothing and hopefully buy and sell and get into the market, let me know. In the links not in the links, but in the comments below, please let me know if you're interested in getting some advice on how to buy and sell. Because what I like to do with my crypto is I send it to a wallet, and then I convert it over, and I'm able to buy these kind of coins. So it's very difficult actually, and it's pull my hair out, but it can be done. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.